They will call you arrogant because you refuse to beg for their approval. They will label you strange because your validation comes from within, not from the crowd. They will see your silence as a weakness, never understanding it as the source of your power. And they will resent you for walking a path they are too afraid to even look at. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Sigma male community. In this space, we don't apologize for our nature. We seek to understand and master it. Today, we are not just talking about being misunderstood. We are dissecting the fundamental reasons why the modern world, with its desperate need for conformity and noise, simply cannot process the man who operates on a different frequency. We will explore the core attributes that make the Sigma male an unsolvable puzzle to the masses, and in doing so, we will fortify our own resolve to walk this path with unwavering purpose. This is not about seeking conflict. It is about understanding the conflict that your very existence creates in others. The discomfort you sense from others is real. It is not a flaw in you but a reflection of their own limitations. Their inability to handle you stems from a deep-seated clash between their need for a predictable world and your embodiment of sovereign autonomy. Let's break down the 11 core reasons for this phenomenon, treating each not as a point of pride, but as a pillar of self-awareness. 1. The Unpredictability Paradox. People are creatures of habit, not just in their actions but in their expectations of others. They build mental models of everyone they meet, assigning labels and predicting behaviors to feel a sense of control over their social environment. The Sigma male shatters this illusion of control. His actions are not guided by the predictable inputs of social reward and punishment. He isn't swayed by applause, deterred by disapproval, or manipulated by emotional bait. Instead, he operates on a complex internal calculus, a set of principles and goals known only to him. This isn't erratic, impulsive behavior. It is the pinnacle of rational self-direction. While the rest of the world performs a familiar dance, stepping in time with the rhythm of social expectation, the Sigma moves to a beat only he can hear. This silent, strategic movement, guided by an unwavering internal compass, is the essence of his power and the source of others' profound unease. To the person whose sense of safety is tethered to predictability, this controlled autonomy is indistinguishable from chaos. They see a man who cannot be neatly categorized, a variable they cannot solve for, and it registers as a threat to their worldview. Their tools of social influence, flattery, guilt, peer pressure, shaming, are rendered useless. They are confronted with a man who is psychologically sovereign, an island of self-possession in an ocean of reactive emotion. They aren't witnessing a lack of rules, they are witnessing a man who has mastered his own. This unflinching adherence to an internal code, rather than an external script, is the first and most fundamental reason why most people simply cannot handle the presence of a true Sigma male. It exposes the fragility of their own externally defined reality. 2. Silence as a strategic weapon. In a world that screams for attention, where noise is mistaken for substance and verbosity for intelligence, the Sigma's deliberate silence is a revolutionary act. Most people speak to fill voids, to ease their own anxiety, or to desperately signal their worth to the tribe. Their words are cheap because their intent is needy. The Sigma understands a core principle of power and influence. What is scarce is valuable. He treats his words as a finite, precious resource, deploying them with surgical precision. His quiet is not an absence of thought, it is a crucible of observation. While others are broadcasting their inner monologue, he is downloading data, analyzing motives, and mapping the emotional terrain of the room. His silence is a strategic weapon, creating a vacuum that others rush to fill, often revealing far more than they intended. This economy of speech gives his words a gravitational force that constant talkers can never achieve. When the man who is known for his restraint finally chooses to speak, the room falls silent. Every syllable lands with weight and purpose, not because of volume, but because of the vast, considered silence from which it emerged. This unnerves people. They are accustomed to the static of performative communication. The Sigma's quietude is a mirror that reflects their own verbal incontinence, their desperate need for validation. It's a masterclass in stoic composure, a demonstration that true power doesn't need to announce itself. It is felt in the calm, in the stillness, and in the profound impact of carefully chosen words. His silence isn't empty, it's loaded. 3. Immunity to the nice guy economy. Modern social interaction is largely built on a fragile, unspoken barter system, the nice guy economy. This economy runs on the currency of transactional decency. An individual performs an act of kindness, offers a compliment, or displays superficial empathy with the implicit expectation of receiving something in return: approval, loyalty, affection, or compliance. The Sigma male is not just immune to this economy, he rejects its very premise. His decency, when offered, is not a currency to be spent. It is a reflection of his own principles, a conviction. It comes with no hidden clauses, no emotional hooks, and no expectation of repayment. He does not keep a ledger of social debts and credits. This utter rejection of transactional niceness is terrifying to those who have mastered its art, particularly manipulators. Their entire strategy relies on creating a sense of indebtedness in their targets. They use flattery as a crowbar, guilt as a leash, and performative vulnerability as a trap. When these tactics are deployed against the Sigma, they simply fail to find purchase. The flattery is observed and dismissed. The guilt trip finds no emotional runway to land on. The feigned weakness is met not with exploitable sympathy, but with calm, rational detachment. The manipulator's playbook is rendered obsolete, short-circuiting their social programming. In his immunity, the Sigma exposes a brutal truth they cannot face: that their niceness was never genuine kindness, but merely a sophisticated costume for control. 4. The mirror of unflinching authenticity. In a society of curated profiles and carefully constructed public personas, the Sigma male's most disruptive trait is his effortless authenticity. He is not trying to be authentic, he simply is. He has undergone the arduous internal work of stripping away the masks that others wear for comfort and social survival. He has reconciled who he is with who he presents to the world, and found there is no difference. His presence in any social setting acts as a silent, unflinching mirror. He doesn't need to speak a word of judgment. His state of being is the judgment. He is a baseline of reality in a room filled with performance art, and his quiet self-possession applies a relentless, passive pressure on everyone else's facade. This is why his presence can be so profoundly uncomfortable for so many. People don't truly hate the Sigma. They hate the sudden, stark reflection of their own inauthenticity that he provides. They are forced to confront the gap between who they pretend to be and who they really are. Every forced smile, every hollow laugh, every opinion tailored for applause feels cheap and transparent in the presence of someone who requires none of it. When your entire identity is built upon the rickety scaffolding of external validation, standing next to a man who is a self-supporting stone monolith is an excruciating experience. He exposes their foundation as sand, not by attacking it in fact, but simply by standing firmly on his own rock. 5. Detachment from the dopamine wheel. Modern society is a grand Skinner box, engineered to keep its subjects addicted to the lever pulling for fleeting rewards. This is the dopamine wheel, the endless chase for the next hit of validation, whether it comes from a notification on a screen, a mark of social status, a casual conquest, or the approval of a superior. While the masses are sprinting on this wheel like hamsters, growing more exhausted with every turn, the Sigma male has quietly stepped off. He has consciously broken the cycle of addiction. He understands the stoic truth that external things can be preferred, but they must never become necessary. True freedom, true tranquility, is found by detaching one's happiness from that which is outside of one's control. This detachment is not a cold austerity or a lack of passion, as the addicted observers might believe. It is the highest form of self-mastery. The Sigma can want things, success, connection, pleasure, but he is not owned by his wanting. A victory does not inflate his ego, and a loss does not diminish his core worth. Applause is not his oxygen, and rejection is not his poison. His energy flows from an internal wellspring of purpose, not from an external drip feed of validation. To the dopamine-starved individual, this power to walk away from anything, a job, a relationship, a social circle, without flinching is terrifying. It's an immunity to the very bait that keeps the rest of the world trapped. It is true sovereignty. If you are here watching this, you recognize this tension in your own life. You have felt the confused stares when you refused to perform the expected social ritual. You have seen the flicker of frustration in someone's eyes when your emotions did not bend to their will. You need to understand that this is not about you being superior or them being inferior. It is about operating on a completely different frequency, a different wavelength of existence. They were handed a script at birth, and they have spent their lives learning the lines. You looked at the script, recognized it as a cage and set about writing your own. That is the fundamental fracture line between you and the rest of the world. And you must always remember this. Systems, by their very nature, attack that which they cannot control and cannot assimilate. Your independent existence is a silent critique of their entire operating system, and they will never forgive you for it. 6. Rejecting trauma as social currency. In many modern circles, a new and insidious form of social currency has emerged: trauma. People bond over their shared wounds, parading their brokenness as a badge of honor and using their past pain as a primary tool for connection. I am damaged, you are damaged, therefore we can understand each other. This creates a landscape of codependency, where belonging is forged in mutual misery. The Sigma male instinctively rejects this framework. He is not interested in building connections on a foundation of weakness. He seeks alignment, not commiseration. He looks for resonance in strength, resilience, and intellectual capacity, not in shared victimhood. He understands that constantly picking at a wound ensures it will never heal. To those deeply embedded in the economy of pity, this approach feels cold, callous, and cruel. They offer their pain as a gift, and he respectfully declines to accept it. This isn't a lack of empathy, it is a profound form of respect. The Sigma respects others and himself too much to reduce them to the sum of their worst experiences. He engages with their potential, not their pathology. His inner circle is kept small and fortified, not because he is exclusionary but because he filters for capacity, not for brokenness. He knows that the strongest bonds are not forged in the damp cellar of shared victimhood, but in the purifying fire of mutual resolve and shared ascent. 7. The anti-performance charisma. Forget the practiced charm, the memorized jokes, and the salesman's smile. That is the charisma of the performer, designed to win approval. The Sigma male possesses something else entirely: anti-performance charisma. It is not something he does, it is a quality that emanates from him. It is the natural gravity of a man who is deeply and unapologetically rooted in his own being. There are no calculated moves to appear likable, no forced laughter to signal belonging, no ingratiating questions to curry favor. There is only a dense, calm, and solid presence. He is there, fully and completely, and that in itself is magnetic. This form of charisma is deeply unnerving to the performers because it breaks all their rules. They have spent years, even decades, honing their act, learning the intricate dance of likability. Then they encounter a man who commands a room's attention and respect without even trying. The question that haunts them is, how? The answer is simple. Authenticity has a resonance that no performance can ever replicate. People can feel the difference between a manufactured persona and a genuine soul. The performer's energy is loud, brittle, and needy. The Sigma's energy is quiet, solid, and undeniable. It doesn't ask for attention, it commands it by its very nature. 8. Efficiency over exhaustion theater. Our culture has created a cult around the idea of the grind. It worships at the altar of burnout and treats exhaustion as a badge of honor. People engage in exhaustion theater, performing their busyness and complaining about their lack of sleep as a way to signal their importance and work ethic. The Sigma sees this for what it is: a catastrophic failure of strategy. He rejects the cult of performative struggle. He understands that time and, more importantly, focused energy are his most valuable, non-renewable resources. He does not worship struggle, he masters systems. He is a student of leverage, always seeking the point of maximum effect for minimum effort. To the chaos-addicted individual who thrives on drama and frantic activity, the Sigma's calm efficiency looks like laziness or a lack of ambition. They cannot comprehend how he achieves superior results while appearing to do less. The truth is, he isn't doing less, he is doing less of what doesn't matter. 2 hours of his precise, focused action can eclipse 2 days of another's scattered, frenetic motion. This is the Stoic ideal in practice, not in action but right action. He understands the profound difference between movement and progress. He protects his energy with vigilance, optimizes his output with ruthless logic, and allows the frantic to drown in their own self-inflicted drama. 9. The identity beyond labels. Ask most people who they are, and they will respond with a list of external labels. I am a manager. I am a husband. I am an artist. I am a homeowner. They build their identity on these external, often temporary signifiers. Strip away their job title, their relationship status, or their social standing, and their sense of self begins to crumble. These labels are not just descriptors, they are the life rafts to which their ego clings. The Sigma male understands the danger of this externalized identity. His sense of self is forged in an internal crucible. It is anchored to his principles, his capabilities, and his consciousness, things that no one can ever give him and no one can ever take away. This internal anchor makes him fundamentally destabilizing to a society that organizes itself through categorization. People need to put you in a box to understand you, to relate to you, and ultimately to control you. The Sigma, however, doesn't fit in any box. He is not his job. He is the man who performs the job. He is not his relationship. He is the man who participates in the relationship. He doesn't introduce himself with a title. He simply arrives, a complete entity unto himself. How do you manipulate a man who doesn't need the labels you offer? How do you threaten a man who finds his worth entirely within? You cannot. He is unboxable, and that is the ultimate expression of personal power. 10. Emotional precision, not discounts. A common misconception is that the Sigma male is cold or emotionless. This is a fundamental misreading. He is not without emotion. He is simply free from the obligation of emotional performance. Society runs on a system of emotional discounts, a constant stream of fake smiles, hollow validations, padded opinions, and performative empathy designed to soothe egos and lubricate social friction. The Sigma refuses to participate in this devaluation of genuine feeling. His emotional energy is a high-value asset, and he does not offer it at a discount. He will not sugarcoat a difficult truth to make someone comfortable. He will not feign interest he does not feel. When a Sigma does express an emotion, whether it is loyalty, anger, joy, or concern, it is real. It is undiluted. It is precise. This unnerves people who are accustomed to the comforting fog of emotional dishonesty. They are confronted with a clarity that can be bracing, even harsh. The Sigma's silence is an honest silence. His engagement is honest engagement. This forces a choice upon those who interact with him. Either rise to his level of authenticity or retreat back to the safety of comforting falsehoods. In his world, honesty is the highest form of respect, and the temporary comfort derived from a lie is the ultimate act of cowardice. 11. Script awareness and conscious rejection. Perhaps the most advanced and least understood quality of the Sigma is his profound script awareness. He moves through the world with a sniper's acuity for social dynamics. He sees the invisible architecture of every interaction, the hidden agendas, the unspoken rules, the power plays disguised as pleasantries, and the precise social performances expected of every participant. He doesn't just stumble through social situations. He reads them on a level that most people are completely oblivious to. He sees the matrix. He knows exactly when he is expected to laugh at the boss's unfunny joke, when to offer a token compliment, or when to nod in feigned agreement. But awareness is only the first part of the equation. The true act of power lies in the second part, conscious rejection. The Sigma sees the script, understands the role he is expected to play, and makes a deliberate, sovereign choice to opt out. This is not a clumsy, adolescent rebellion born of ignorance. It is a quiet, dignified defiance born of deep integrity. While the conformist shrinks themselves to fit the pre-approved template, the Sigma stands in his full stature, refusing to recite lines written by someone else. His stillness, when laughter is expected, exposes the performative nature of the group. His refusal to play along is a silent, devastating critique that reveals a painful truth. Most of what people call belonging is just an act of collective self-abandonment. So you see, Sigmas aren't problematic, they're prophetic. Their existence in a world of conformity doesn't disrupt the system. It reveals the system as hollow. The discomfort they cause in others is not an indictment of their character. It is the tremor of a long-dormant awakening in those they encounter. For the person trapped in the theater of social performance, that tremor feels like a threatening earthquake. But for the sovereign man, for the man who walks his own path, it is simply the familiar, liberating sound of chains breaking. You are not the problem. You are the one who reveals the problem. This is the path we explore here at the Sigma male community. It is a journey not of arrogance, but of radical self-ownership. If the principles we discussed today resonated with the core of your being, if you felt a sense of recognition in these words, then you have found a valuable resource. Solidify your commitment to this path. Like this video to signal your alignment. Comment below with the point that resonated most deeply with you. Your insights strengthen this entire community. Share this video with a brother you know who walks this path alone and needs to hear he is not the only one. And if you have not already, subscribe and most importantly hit the notification bell. Doing so ensures you will not miss the critical guidance and fortification we offer here. This is more than a channel, it is an arsenal for the mind of the independent man. Stay sovereign.